Hey everyone, welcome back to Hanging Out for a Living. I'm your host, Teresa, and today I have the pleasure of introducing you to someone who truly understands the power of connection, Anthony Markey. And Anthony, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Anthony is the founder of I Know a Guy, or IKAG, a platform that's dedicated to helping entrepreneurs, professionals, and innovators grow their circle one meaningful connection at a time. Through IGA's daily newsletter and podcast, Anthony introduces people to someone new every day, sparking collaborations, business growth, and oftentimes life-changing opportunities. If you have ever wondered how to turn networking into real results, build an authentic community, or use connections to fuel your success, then this episode is really for you. Stick around because Anthony's going to be sharing insights, strategies, and stories that could completely change the way you approach building relationships. So, Anthony, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. And what do you say, folks? We dive in, right? So, let's do this. Anthony, let's start with the big picture. What inspired you to create I Know a Guy, IKAG again, and how did it evolve into a platform that connects people on a daily basis?
Yeah, so it was a happy accident. On my business side, I had some restrictions. I could only help groups that are in the US. And if you spend any time networking, the majority of the people you talk to are going to be your solopreneurs, micro businesses, people that were never going to be a client of mine. But I wanted to be able to add value to them. I'm a firm believer in the Zig Ziglar, helping enough people get what they want, you get what you want. The karma, the golden rule, the reap what you sow, the go-giver, whatever word you want to put to it. And I wanted to be able to help everybody I was talking to, but I just didn't have a way of doing it. So about 5 months ago, it was October 1st was my first one. I decided, you know what? I'm meeting all these awesome people anyway. I might as well make these meetings all about them, record it and share it. So that's how I got started. It was supposed to just be a way of making more, valuable connection where if I interviewed you and you said I help people with XYZ and down the road I bumped into somebody that goes, I could really use help in this area, or I partner well with people in this area. Instead of trying to remember exactly everything that you do, I could just send the episode and say, have you met Teresa? And they take a look at it and one of two things would happen. They'd either go, not for me, in which case, great. I saved you time. I didn't make an introduction that was never going to go anywhere. Or two, and way more likely, is they go, she's awesome. Could you introduce me? At which point they go into that first meeting already knowing who you are, what you do, what you love about what you do, and why they wanted to connect with you. So it leads to that deeper connection right away. And it was something I was going to do semi-frequently, a couple times a month. Here we are, almost 5 months later. Today is episode 112 that went out. It turns out entrepreneurs like to talk about themselves. I have about another 50 recorded already too, because there's a lot of awesome people out there doing awesome things, and I'm trying to talk to all of them. So it quickly evolved into a daily newsletter and podcast where I just make daily introductions for people that want them.
That's awesome. I love that. I love how you shared your story, and it's all about connections. Absolutely. And folks, I do get Anthony's newsletter, and you're going to want to sign up for it. Trust me. And all that'll be at the end of this interview. So hang in there. Um, Question number two. One of the biggest challenges people face in networking is making connections that actually lead to opportunities. What's the secret to turning introductions into meaningful long-term relationships?
Add value to them from the get-go. Find a way that you can help them because that's kind of what everybody wants. And you go into it saying, "This is what I do. Here's why you should talk to me." When really, if you look at networking as a bell curve, you have the people on this really far side that all they do is they show up and they pitch slap. They have no care what you do. They just want to sell you whatever they have, right? And we're going to remember those people because you're going to remember never to talk to them again. Then you can have a bunch of people in the middle that are just some variation of one extreme or another, where you might remember them vaguely, you're not exactly sure what they do. There was a dog barking in the background. Yes, the dog's name was Rex, right? And you remember that for some reason. And then on the very far side, the right side, the people that you're going to remember for the right reasons are the ones that when they first talk to you, some of the first things they say is, what
Oops. Anthony, I think I lost you there
of
for a
that,
minute.
that same thing we talked about before, the, helping people get what they want is going to help you in the long run. The universe is kind of like this giant vending machine that if you put a dollar in it, eventually two are going to come out. So how many dollars do you want to put in it, right? So they're there to genuinely help you, and you're going to remember that person, and you're going to want to reciprocate. So if you want to make genuine connections, be that person because you need to be memorable, but you need to be memorable for the right reasons.
Absolutely. And something I think we've all heard, right, was people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? And I always say there's a 3.5, and I get the like, what? What's a 3.5? And the point five is people they remember fondly. And you just hit the nail on the head there. It's who do we remember fondly as opposed to being pitch slapped, wanting to get sold to, etc. So, great insight there. Thank you. So, through your work with IKAG, you've connected countless professionals and sparked some major collaborations. Can you share a success story that really stands out where one introduction made a significant impact?
Yeah, the first one, the gentleman, he's at the top of my website right now. He's in the featured post. His name is Rudy. I met him about 11 months ago. And since meeting him, he's made over 300 introductions, right, for me. And I've been able to make, a bunch back. So as I'm growing this, I put him right at the top as a thank you, saying, you did some awesome things. You're very interested. I've never seen anybody as interested in connecting people, just genuinely, as him. So every time I make a connection to Rudy, it's always a positive one, because he's that kind of person where, if you foster that relationship and you're willing to, talk to him, reciprocate, and help, it's a super great person to know. And here's the thing, that's not rare, right? It sounds rare, but there's a lot of people out there that fall in that thing where if you could just add any kind of value, be a good person, it comes back to you a lot quicker than you think it would, because there's people out there, they just want to reciprocate. We're all used to the, you have your one-on-one meeting with somebody and then you never talk to them again. When somebody reaches back out and then you go, you know what, after a conversation, I wanted to make another introduction, or I had this thought, would you mind hopping on another one-to-one? That's that's where you really start to grow. So being able to help people in that sense, those are the ones that really stand out, the ones that are coming back, constantly doing it, the Rudies out there, the super connectors, the people that are super interested, in what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It just helps us to be really a great referral source for each other as well, because you're building on that relationship and you feel really more comfortable with referring that person. So that's great. So to close out our fourth question, for those who feel overwhelmed by networking, whether they're introverted or I like to say high functionally introverted, new to business world, or just really don't know where to start. What's your best advice for making authentic connections that matter?
Be interested, not interesting. And that takes a lot of weight off your shoulders because all you really need to do is focus on how you can help or how you can talk to that other person and get them to talk about themselves. Because a lot of the things that we think about when we're nervous is what are people going to think of me, right? What are people going to do when I walk in? What are they going to think about when I talk? When really everybody's just, a lot of them, and this is unfortunate, but it's how people are just kind of waiting for their turn to talk. So let them. Just go in, and if you're nervous, great. Just get them talking about themselves. The eyes aren't on you, they're thinking about themselves, and let them go. Don't interrupt them. Ask engaging questions. Keep them going, because what happens is if you're basically just counting down the minutes saying, all right, I'm going to give them 2 minutes to talk and then it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
You never get through the scripted bit, right? That's just how they talk to everybody. You're not going to stand out. But if you just let them go and you can go for 10 minutes, right, without interrupting and just asking, you'll start to notice it'll change, right? Because they're past that scripted bit, they're way past what they've polished, and they'll start saying things like, "Huh, I never told anybody that," or "That's a really good question," and they're engaging more. And if you just keep going, even if you never get your chance to talk, it's okay, because what'll happen is they're going to walk away and say, "You were the best conversationalist I've ever talked to," and it was just them talking, right? The majority of it. And they like that. And then at
Right.
the end, what'll happen is even if you're out of time and you go, "Hey, you know what? I do have to go. I have another meeting." They're going to say, "I am so sorry. I took up that entire time talking about myself. Can we meet again? I'd really love to hear what you do." And they're going to reciprocate that exact thing. They're going to intently listen. You're not just going to be another voice, right? So that's not new to me. I got that from How to Win Friends and Influence People. So if you haven't read that book, read that book. But my advice, just be interested, not interesting. And that's kind of the only thing you really need to know.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. And that's a great book. I reread it at least once every couple of years. So
Yep.
pick that up if you haven't already. That's Dale Carnegie, right?
Yep, sure
Oh,
is.
okay. Yep.
It's an annual read.
Yeah, it really actually should be. Um, so, Anthony, this has been such a fantastic conversation. Thank you for sharing your insights and experiences with us. And, folks, if you found value in today's episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll never miss another great interview of Hanging Out for a Living. And most importantly, out of all that, the conversation doesn't need to stop here. If you want to connect with Anthony and discover how IKAG can help you grow your network, all of his contact information is in the description below. Oh, and don't forget to drop a comment with your biggest takeaway from today's discussion. We'd love to hear how you're building your connections. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us, and we'll see you the next time. Thanks, Anthony, again. Bye for now, everybody.
Thanks for having me.